something that I've always learned is if you have any kind of running water running into the river is going to change the temperature just a little bit, right? Well, I was pre-fishing with Sherry because she goes and pre-fishes with me. And we're fishing around this point and I hear something. I'm like, I hear some running water. Oh my gosh, I got to find this. And so we go around the corner and around the other corner. I'm like, holy cow, that water was like 85, 86 degrees.
Welcome to the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast, inspiring real women with a passion for fishing and the outdoors to go get their adventure on. Now, here's your fearless host, Angie Scott.
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Woman Angler and Adventurer podcast. Well, is everybody ready for Christmas? Because ready or not, here it comes. Hope you got your orders in for the favorite anglers in your life, or for yourself, of course. Some great gift ideas as mentioned on the show: Elle's Goldfish, Kenny's Christmas kits. Other great gift ideas include stealth rod holders, the new St. Croix rod, Victory series line of rods, one of my personal favorites. A pair of Costa sunglasses, in my opinion, the best sunglasses for fishing. And by the way, have you seen their new Untangled collection with frames made out of recycled fishing nets? How awesome to get a great lightweight pair of sunglasses for fishing and be supporting recyclable fishing nets, and the frames themselves are recyclable as well. Or how about a YOLOtech power stick to keep your GoPro or other action camera powered up all day long while you're out on the boat? You can use coupon code Angie for free shipping from YOLOtech, by the way. And there's a link on the website at thewomanangler.com via our partners link up at the top right-hand page. Or you can access it via the show notes for this episode on your favorite podcast app, or at thewomanangler.com/215. Best of all, you'll be supporting one of the amazing partners who help make this show possible week after week, so I can continue featuring awesome women anglers and hopefully inspiring you and others to get out there and get your adventure on. This week is no different. This is a special encore episode from a recent Women's World of Fishing Monday Night Live hosted by Barbara Harris and myself, which this one in particular featured professional bass angler Stephanie Hemphill Pellerin. I know it's hard for some of you to catch the Monday Night Lives on Facebook or YouTube, and so this conversation with Stephanie was so informative and fun, I thought it was worth condensing down a bit and sharing the audio from our chat with you here this week on the Woman Angler and Adventure podcast to make it a little bit easier for you guys to listen. I don't want you to miss all the great information that Stephanie has to share. I think you're really going to find some value in her experience as a professional bass angler, regardless of what kind of fishing you like to do. Stay tuned for next week's episode, which is going to be a post-Christmas 2021 year-end recap episode, as well as a glimpse of things to come in 2022. Thanks always for listening and coming along with me on this crazy ride. I'm more excited than ever for the new year. I think you're going to be as stoked as I am. Alright, without further ado, please welcome a condensed encore episode of the Women's World of Fishing Monday Night Live with myself, Barbara Harris, and our very special guest, the 2021 Lady Bass Anglers Association Rookie of the Year, Stephanie Pellerin.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another night of Women's World of Fishing Monday Night Takeover. I'm Barbara Harris, and this is Angie Scott, and It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
Seen us together. Angie, they saw me last week. They did not see you. And so you've been gone longer than me. What's been going on?
Yeah, just busy, traveling back and forth here and there. Last week I had a pretty bad head cold. Thankfully, that's all it was. And I'm finally better as of day before yesterday. So I'm glad it didn't last a super long time, but it's been a good while since I've had anything like that. So just kind of
thank God it wasn't COVID.
Exactly. Yeah. And it just kind of makes you appreciate being healthy, when you have something like that. So, yeah, so glad that's over, but I'm in Florida now. We, left late last night, drove through the night and, didn't get a whole lot of sleep. So, glad to be here and not, hopefully I don't, I'm actually sitting on a bed right now. So hopefully I don't just kind of doze off. No, yes. But I'm excited for our guest tonight. So I'm sure that's not going to happen.
Good deal. I think it's time for us to bring Stephanie, the LBAA, Lady Bass Angler Association's Professional Rookie of the Year. Hey, Stephanie, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you guys doing? And did y'all survive the storms, I'm guessing?
We did, yeah.
Thank goodness.
So I live on a houseboat and in Nashville, and they were on the news all night long talking about all the storms coming our way, and so I actually, for the first time ever, wore my life jacket to bed.
Oh my gosh.
And my dog too. I put her life jacket on too because I was like, I don't know, I could fall asleep and not know what's going on and wake up in an emergency situation, and not have the wherewithal to put a life jacket on, and the water's cold. So I, actually slept pretty good. It was like extra cushion.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We didn't sleep very well. The dogs didn't sleep very well. My dog was trying to get in my armpit because he was so scared. It was a rough night, but it could have been so much worse. We were really, really lucky.
Yes, I've been seeing the pictures and the videos and stuff, and it's absolutely horrible.
Right. It was on the ground for, they said, over 200 miles. I mean, a lot of them touch down and go, I literally can't even imagine.
Yeah.
So we were lucky. And it's times like this that you just wish you were rich so you could just help everybody. These are the times that our country shows how many good people there are in the world too. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
It's times like these where it's like, man, weren't you just cussing each other out on the internet? And now but kind of start at the beginning of this year. This was your rookie year on the LBAA. How did you get to the LBAA? Why?
I actually fished the LBAA the very first year that they were ever the LBAA. And unfortunately, I had to kind of give up tournament fishing for my kids because, being a mom, that comes first, for me. But now my kids are old enough to where I can pursue my dreams. And so I actually took the position of coaching the high school fishing team at Warren High School. And I had 32 kids, me and Kelly Tillerson did. And that kind of just got me back into wanting to fish. My dog's jumping on me, to wanting to fish tournaments. And, again, it just got that going through your blood. Once you start doing that and you love it and you fit into it, it's what you always want to do. Mm-hmm. And so that's how I got back into LBAA. I told my husband this is what I really wanted to do, and he 100% supported me and signed me up for all of them, and I was ready to go.
He signed you up?
Yes, he does all my scheduling. He does all my signing up for everything that I do. I'm actually fishing 14 total tournaments this year, next year coming up.
Nice.
So, and he has my schedule in front of me right now, and he made me because you tell me where to go and I go and fish it. So,
can he tell me where to Can he tell me where to go and write me a check?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Stephanie, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't you the one with the Cane River tournament last year? You weren't 100% sure if you were going to be able to make it to that or not? Because you had another tournament
Okay, so what ended up happening was, and I'm going to go through the whole emotional experience too, that helped me make the decision that I made. So we're at Cane. I ended up, being in 6th place at Cane. And then I found out I was in 4th of Angler of the Year points, and, being with all you ladies and this and that, and hugging each other and just being around each other, all that hype, it's like, oh, we made the classic. Yes. I had another tournament and going on at the same exact time that our classic was, and that was a BFL on my home lake. I was sitting in 60th place in Angler of the Year points, and you needed to be in top 45 to make regionals. Being in top 45, that meant I just needed to go catch a limit. That was it. I gave up that tournament to go fish the LBAA Classic. And so, therefore, that's why I ended up in Tennessee fishing Loudon Tellico in Tennessee, in which I came in 34th place there out of 188. And that's how I ended up there. And, which was a great experience altogether. I mean, each experience I have learned so incredibly much. I mean, it's just hard to say how much I've learned because I will use everything from now on at each lake I go to.
That's just a tough position to be in, though. I mean, having to pick and choose which tournaments to go to. And
you've got a tough schedule. You're fishing three tours next year.
Yes.
That's a lot.
Yes, I am. I'm actually starting the season on January 8th with the BFL on Sam Rayburn, which is my home lake. And then I'm fishing the Brandon Belt tournament, which is 400 teams. It's called the 100K Slam, $100,000 Slam. And me and Sherry Jacks are the only female team as of right now.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so we got into that one. And then I go from there to Toyota Series. And then, the opens, I'm in the Central Open. Somehow I got in there, thank God. But I go to the Central Opens as a pro. April's my first tournament then. Very cool. Yes, it's a lot of tournaments. I mean, BFLs, Toyota Series, Opens, and LBAA. So
how do you possibly fish a tournament with 400 boats?
This will be the first one I've ever done it with 400 boats. It'll be the very first one. So, but that 100,000, you kind of let's go do it. My home lake, why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
How do they even let out 400 boats?
Well, we actually get to go put in from wherever we would like to put in.
Okay, mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean,
yeah. I mean, when we had like a BFL that's going out of Humphreys Pavilion at Sam Rayburn, you'll have the very first day maybe 260 boats or 250 boats, however many boats. And that's crazy just in a small little area. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're holding your breath that you don't hit somebody because you can touch a boat right next to you. And I'm always tell my co's, I'm like, hey, you're the buffer in between me and this boat. Make sure we don't hit them.
Right.
So, I mean, it's really that crazy. You can walk across boats.
And you don't hold back when you're running your boat. I mean, you're like,
no,
you're like barely touching the water when you're going.
Yeah, I run my boat. I mean, I grew up on Sam Rayburn. So, I mean, we can have 4 or 5 foot swells really easy. And you just drive, you get on top of them and you go. Because if you don't, they're going to go over you. So, I mean, you got to make a choice there. And plus, I got to beat people to my spots also.
From billion-dollar ad budgets and arena naming rights to tens of thousands of retail locations, big wireless providers spend big to appear like they're your only option. How do they afford it all? That big bill you get at the end of every month. Mint Mobile had a different idea. Instead of brick and mortar overhead, Mint Mobile is online only. What does that mean for you? A whole lot of savings because wireless plans from Mint Mobile start at just $15 a month. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for just $15 a month. You'll save enough that you can get a brand new rod and reel for the upcoming season. For anyone who just hates their phone bill, Mint Mobile offers premium wireless for just $15 a month. All plans come with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan, and you can even keep your same phone number along with all of your existing contacts. By going online only and eliminating traditional costs of retail, Mint Mobile passes significant savings on to you. Switch to Mint Mobile and get premium wireless service starting at just $15 a month. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/waypoint. That's mintmobile.com/waypoint. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/waypoint.
Right?
I mean, I'm not hating. I mean, that's how you learn. I'm sure that you've taken some waves wrong, and that's how you learn to stay on top of them.
Yeah.
So
for sure. My very first BFL this last year. I'm sorry, my dog keeps on jumping on me.
Oh no, you're fine.
He's wanting to say hi, I think.
We love
Hi,
dogs.
buddy. I know, right? We're dog people.
Anyways, the very first BFL this last year, I took on 2 waves, and I lost all power to my units, the power to my troller motor. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. Me and my co were completely soaked. It's 30-something degrees outside. And it's like, okay, what do you do at this point? You know, I mean, you have to try to figure it out. So I was like, okay, I'll use my motor and we'll go past this point. We'll let the wind take us past this point and we'll fish this point. It's going to take us on into this cove right here. And that's how we're going to fish. So I ended up fishing the rest of the day like that. I even ended up tying up one time onto a stump where I knew that there was a brush pile. There was a bunch of brush piles around. I mean, I had no choice. I couldn't do anything.
But you know what, though? You know what's awesome about that, though, is how many anglers would have been like, you know what? Screw it. My day's over. I don't have my trolling motor.
My brain was saying that. My brain was saying that. I can tell you that much.
Right. But they would have thrown them off so much to where it would have just put them down to where they wouldn't have been trying to strategically figure stuff out like that. Mm-hmm. You know, it would have just wrecked them. You know, I mean, that one guy, I don't remember what tournament it was in, but it was like one of the FLW, like he was winning an event on the last day and he went home because a guy who wasn't in the running to win, but he was still on the cusp of the cut for money.
Are you talking about Cox, John Cox?
No, I don't think it was Cox. I don't know. It might have been. I'm not really sure who it was, but if somebody else got to a spot and he's like, "You really going to do this, man?" And he's like, "You know what? Fine." And he literally went home and he was in the league to win the tournament. And because somebody went to his spot, he went home.
Now, I won't do anything like that. You know, I believe that we all can be cordial to each other and we can share a spot as long as you use that 50-yard rule. You know, I mean, there's enough water for everybody. You know, it's how I see it. Act like a sportsman. I mean, do the right thing.
Sure.
That's how, I mean, I could be wrong about all that,
but here you are, you know, like you lose power to your trolling motor and you're like, I'm not going home. I'm going to figure this out and still fish. And he's like, wah, 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 and decides to go home over that. It just, people have got to start learning. I've been saying it forever now. People have got to start learning that women ain't no joke out on the water. We're tough. If they don't believe us, you know, come to the LBAA event. Some of these companies have got to start coming out to the LBAA events and start meeting some of you girls. Mm-hmm. Me and you talked about that in sponsorship, about sponsorships and stuff. And one of the things that you told me on TikTok has just been about getting sponsorships. And we're going to do a show on sponsorships, Angie. Many people have asked us to. We need to do it.
Yeah, there's a certain way to do all that, and you and I have talked about this. Mm-hmm. And you know, it's not just calling somebody up, "Hey, I want you to sponsor me." And it's really not even a sponsor; it's a partnership. You're partnershiping with these people, and you're helping them. So if you don't believe in their product, you're not going to sell their product, but they also have to believe in you too as well.
Right.
So you have to be sellable on both sides.
Right.
And it is a partnership. That's what it is.
Yep. I totally agree. And there's, just so many aspects about it, known and unknown, but we're definitely going to cover it.
Cool. I'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah. You're going to help us with it. He just didn't know that part yet. But,
my husband did this awesome resume for me, and, we sat down together and we put it all together. I wanted to make it as professional as possible, because when you're going for these partnerships or sponsorships, whatever you want to call them, you want to be as professional as possible. And so that's how we go into all of this. I'm not one that has a lot of sponsors. I don't really believe in having a lot of sponsors, because like I've said before, the sponsors that I have, I want to believe 100% in their products. I want to be able to say, man, this petite spinnerbait right here is the bomb. It's awesome. I've caught these fish on it. I use it on a daily basis. Or this rod, you can look on my boat and see that's actually really what I use.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to be that person. I don't want to be one of those fake people. Just, hey, let's put some stuff on me. I don't want to be that.
South Dakota is expanding pheasant hunting's horizon and giving sportswomen a greater voice in the field. The connection to nature, the adrenaline of the hunt, the satisfaction of eating the game you bag. Hunting is our shared legacy. Everyone is welcome to enjoy it. Go to huntthegreatestsd.com to hear stories from women who hunt and learn what makes South Dakota the world's pheasant capital. That's huntthegreatestsd.com. South Dakota, sportswomen welcome. And I think also, you're busy, like you're fishing all these tournaments, and then the whole other element of it is to be supporting your sponsors and, getting their information out. And if you have too many sponsors, like at some point you lose the bandwidth.
Yes.
You're not being effective for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that's why it's really important to just really pick, like what you're doing, picking and choosing the ones that you 100% wholeheartedly believe in. And it makes it a lot easier, to take the time to put them out there, but also you're not overextending yourself either.
Yes. And now, don't get me wrong. I need the money to fish. It's all coming out of our pockets right now.
Absolutely.
Every bit of it's coming out of our pockets. And, that puts a little bit of stress on you too, when you're paying for the Opens and for the Toyota Series. And those aren't cheap tournaments. I mean, bottom line. But I have a goal and I want to reach that goal. And however long it takes me, as long as I'm making progress every single year, I will keep going towards that goal. One no does not mean a no forever. It can be a yes 2 years from now. So, you got to work hard for it.
Fishing the LBAA, coming in to get the rookie of the year, like what was the single most factor?
Determination would be number one. I will say my determination just keeps me going, but in order to be competitive, you got to be able to catch your 5 fish. I mean, you have to go in there and you have to hold your own, and you have to be able to catch your 5 fish, and you have to do it every single time. You don't have to be the best every time. You just have to have a good showing. And I think that's how I got 4th in Angler of the Year, was because, I always had a pretty decent showing, as far as my place was concerned. And I kept that up. And, as much as I would love to beat Pam Martin Wells, I mean, come on, we all know we can't beat her. That's like a dream, right? But, just goals.
What do you mean nobody can beat Pam Martin Wells?
It's possible, but the woman has 30, 40 plus years worth of experience. And
I know. And any of us would like to have that talent, because
and that's
it's not just how much she knows. It's freaking talent.
It is. And that's what all of us are striving to do. That's what we all want. I mean, secretly, we're just like, we're going out to beat Pam today.
Pam's just that good, and we all know it.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
I wanted to go back to the Cane River tournament, because you talk about, catching your 5 fish, and that, that's what you got to strive to do.
Mm-hmm.
Cane River did not treat me well whatsoever, like at all.
Yeah.
But I remember you happened to kind of find something special out there that a lot of people didn't find. And when you told that story, I believe from stage, about what you did, I just would want you to reiterate that to people that didn't hear it, because that was really cool.
Yeah, Cane River, if you've never been there, it's not very wide whatsoever. I mean, you could see everybody fishing, and it took 45 minutes to get all the way down river, but you still could see everybody. And that water was about 94 degrees. I don't know if you got about the same thing, Angie, but it's about 94. And something that I've always learned is if you have any kind of running water running into the river is going to change the temperature just a little bit, right? Well, I was pre-fishing with Sherry, because she goes and pre-fishes with me. And we're fishing around this point, and I hear something. I'm like, I hear some running water. Oh my gosh, I got to find this. And so we go around the corner and around the other corner. I'm like, holy cow, that water was like 85, 86 degrees. And it was just a little water coming over this little wall, because, all the little creeks were kind of dammed up, at this place. You can remember. And so I could see on my 360, my Humminbird 360, that there were fish sitting there. And there was a lot of brush there too. So what I would do I call it boxing it. I would be here, then I would be here, a different presentation every 20, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. And that is how I caught my fish. I mean, I stayed there on top of it. And the first day I messed up, and I should have stayed there, because I caught my 5 fish there. And I was like, no, I got to go find a bigger fish, because, we're in to win a tournament.
Right.
You got it. At some point, you have to get it in your mind, I'm here to catch big fish. It doesn't matter if I get in 6th place. I want to win. And so I had that in my head, but it was just a bad mistake. I ran 45 minutes away, wasting my time, And so day 2, I was like, I'm staying on this spot, period. And it was funny, because some of the ladies was coming up to me and saying, hey, I went and got on that spot after you left. How in the heck were you catching them? Nobody could figure out how I was catching them there. And I mean, it was so simple. It's a Texas rig. I mean, it's so simple. It's just, you have to give them a different presentation sometimes, because they'll get used to seeing one thing. So when they do that, hey, box them up. It's not going to be the same. And so that's basically what I did. And I had my limit by 9:00 that morning, I think, on day 2.
That's
and
awesome.
We sat there and we just caught them. But unfortunately, they weren't getting any bigger. But it was fun, though. Right. It was a good time.
That's great.
So
Angie's like, yeah, it was a real great time.
And then, the plastic.
That wasn't my experience at all. But that's okay, because I learned.
Yeah, it was a very, very hard place to go. I mean, it was a hard place. And Ray Hubbard was hard for me too, as well.
Me too. Yeah, that was probably my second toughest one of the whole year. So
yeah, it was hard. And then, we were at Hickory, I did something kind of similar there too, as well, and kind of got away from everybody. And I'm one who likes to travel. I don't, I'll get the heck away from everyone, because that's how I learned how to fish as a little girl. My dad always said, anytime we could see other boats, we're not fishing here, because I don't want them to see us catching them or whatever. So that's kind of just how I learned how to fish. And so I go out looking.
And it don't take you no time to get there, because you drive so fast.
Yeah, because I drive so fast. Yes. My nitro will go fast.
Would you sit on a spot all day? Or how long would you sit on a spot?
It just depends. I mean, really, honestly, there's a lot of things that go into that. What kind of fish am I catching there? Are they are they decent sized fish, or have I caught decent sized fish there before?
If you know the winning fish are there.
If you know the winning fish are there.
What I would have done was try to figure out what times they were biting there, period. Because if you practice there, you should know the times that they're biting. Are they biting at 9 or 12, 1? They're going to be biting at a certain time. It's not going to be probably an all day situation. So that would probably be one of my spots based on time when I think they are feeding.
So a window. If I
don't get a bite in an hour, it's hard to say because I get a little antsy. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, I go to the second place because I can always come back. Mm-hmm. I'm known for that too because I was doing that at our last tournament. I go back to where I know where there's fish. If they're not biting in this hour, well, I'm going to go hit some more spots and I'm going to come back and let's see if they're biting then. Mm-hmm. But it's a time game. I mean, unfortunately, bass feed at certain times, and you've got to figure out what time they feed and what spot. And you got to plan your day accordingly to that.
Boy, that's
hopefully
tough.
I answered your question.
No, I mean, it does. And it's some people believe in windows more than happenstance, and it just depends on the person. And I think it depends on lakes. I think different lakes fish different. I was just really curious. Mainly because you really are consistent no matter where you are.
Consistency is the key, I think, to everything when it comes to any tournament, at all. You don't have to win every tournament, but, be consistent in what you're doing. And if you're consistent, you'll continuously keep moving up because not everybody can be consistent all the time. And
I totally agree.
It just, you figure out what works for you and you do what works for you. Just because, let's say, Barbara does something a certain way doesn't mean she can hand me that same exact rod and that same exact bait and I can use it the same exact way. Right. We can throw the same things and you may catch them and I may not. Mm-hmm. And so that's when you kind of go back to you do what works for you.
Yeah.
And that a lot of what you're talking about is what makes me kind of laugh at the people that say, all this technology we have coming out now, the 360 imaging and the live scope gives people an advantage.
It does.
You learn, you definitely learn more than, what we've been able to see or know before, but there's still so much more that goes into it.
There is. I just got a live scope and, as y'all know, I had surgery 4 weeks ago on my shoulder and it was all tore up, and bicep surgery, and they cut an inch off my collarbone and cleaned up my AC joint. So, I mean, it was a lot, but I've actually gotten to fish twice since then. And the last time I went fishing, I caught that big fish on Rayburn, and that was exciting. It made me totally forget about my shoulder. And then we also went again yesterday, and it's all because I'm trying to learn my live scope because it's something so different. I'm trying to figure out, okay, I know how to read my 360, but how can I apply my 360 and my live scope together to get a full view? I didn't have that kind of stuff growing up. My dad would stick a rod in the water and see how deep it was.
Right.
I mean, that's just how it was, You look at the land and you try to figure out what's different on that land and how it's going to go into the water. And is there a ditch coming here? Is there a creek coming in here? That's how we fished. And so you put all those things together along with the 360 and the live scope, and you have that full picture. And it's hard. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard to learn. It really is. And the live scope just makes me mad, I think, more so than anything, because I can see my bait and then I can see the fish, and then you can either see the fish turn on it or swim the other direction.
Right. Or follow it and not do anything.
And you're like, where are you going?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
but so far, so good.
That's actually what I was going to say about the live scope and the 360 and all that, because, I mean, those are just so expensive. And I'm not going to sit there and be like, well, I can't get it, so I think it's cheating for everybody else to have it. Like, I'm not one of those people. If you can afford it, go on and get it, because there's a lot of people that I think it's going to get in their head, just like what you were saying, where it's like, now that fish is looking at it and he's going to bite it.
Yes,
and they're
100%.
Almost like bed fishing. because people will sit on a bedfish forever.
And when they're not even locked on either. You have to know when a bedfish is locked on and when they're not.
Right. And if they don't bedfish enough, then to know, like you said, then with the live scope, I think for a lot of people, it almost can be detrimental because they're like, oh, well, they're reacting to it. They're going to get it. They're going to get it. And before you know it, 8 hours is gone and they're screwed. So
100%. To me, the live scope isn't really good for shallower water. You know, you kind of got to rely on yourself for that because you're not going to get really the image that you're wanting to get. You may see a fish swim by or something like that, but where it's a game changer is when you get on those tops, you know, those Christmas tree tops or whatever's down there, a rock pile, you know, trying to catch some smallmouth. That's where the game changer is at because you will be able to see, okay, I see my dog. I see 5 smallmouth sitting on this rock pile right here. Let's, you know, put my bait down there and let's watch this. You know, that's where it's a game changer. Yeah. But I think people will probably try to use it in the wrong spots, the wrong type of techniques. You know, it's definitely used for a certain type of stuff. And, you know, that 360 is just as important. Like I said, at Cane River, that's how I caught my fish. I could see them. I could see exactly what was down there. You know, I can see a lay down when it's coming. I know where to throw. I mean, that's definitely a game changer, and it has been for me. But I spend countless hours on the water trying to figure out these electronics. Do I think it's all 100% fair? No, I would love to see tournament anglers do it without all this because I know there's so many people with a lot of talent and they can do it without all this. But it has come so far. The electronics have come so far. There's no way to ever go back. You either have to join people or you really can't compete because you can't compete against somebody that has all of this stuff and like you have just the regular depth finder or fish finder is what they called it. You know, you can't, I mean, yeah, you can probably go catch fish, but they're going to have an advantage. So you either join them or you don't. And I just have chosen, you know, hey, I'm going to do everything I can to make myself better and try to put what talent I do have with this talent. And at certain points, it needs to be a cutoff, though. I don't need to be sitting there looking down 24/7. It needs to be, you know, I still got to use what talent I do have, you know, which is fishing. I need to get out there and fish because that will always be there. You'll always be able to fish.
Right. Well, and it also says what the water temperature is. You know, the depth finder also says the water temperature. So it's pretty much what I use mine for.
So speaking of technology, Stephanie, have you ever used the hydrowave or had any experience with that?
Well, I have been in boats with it and they claim it works really well. I can't say whether it does or it doesn't because my experience was not any different. So, I mean, you know, that's not something I'll be getting. I don't want that. I'd rather have some bigger units in front of my boat or, you know, something like that. But, you know, but you do you have one, Angie?
I don't. No. I've just watched a lot of videos about it and stuff. And
I just really can't. I mean, people claim it works really well, but I haven't seen it yet.
Now, I probably could benefit from it if I still am running the Key West next year, just because I feel like that boat's a lot louder than a bass boat, and it could maybe be beneficial in just masking some of the boat noises.
Oh, yeah. Yes, very much so. Very much so. See, I play music too when I fish. That's probably another thing y'all probably have heard or have heard me playing music. Heck yeah. I always have music on.
So that might be your hydrowave right there.
Yeah, right there. And it's a certain type of music because bass, they don't like rap and stuff like that. It has to be some country music.
There you go.
So
who are some of your favorite country artists?
Let's see, Ryan Bingham. You know, he plays on Yellowstone. He's one of my favorites. Corey Morrow, George Strait. You know, it can go on and on. A lot of Texas country.
Okay.
So,
Ryan Bingham, he was the one that had that South Side of Heaven.
Yep.
Yeah, I loved him. When I worked in the music industry, he was one of our artists that we booked.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Cody Jinks. That's another
Oh,
big one.
I love Cody Jinks too.
I like him a lot. Love his voice. But yeah, I have a whole fishing playlist. So, and that's what it's called, fishing playlist. So, yeah.
Should put it up on Spotify and share it with us. And then the next tournament, I'll play the same thing, and we'll see if my results change.
Yeah, I sing in the boat also. Cassie, Hall and I got paired together.
Oh, yeah.
She and I sang the whole day. And we sang the whole 2 practice days, too.
That's awesome.
I'm sure everybody was looking at us like, what the heck are they doing? But you might as well enjoy.
Yeah,
I bet that was fun. A blast.
Oh, yeah. I listened to AC/DC during takeoff, too.
Oh, cool.
Every single time. It doesn't matter which tournament I'm at. It is blaring.
One particular song or just
no. Okay. Just I like AC/DC. It's a good takeoff music.
AC/DC at takeoff and country music during the day.
Correct. Yeah, correct. That's how it works.
Well, it's been very awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, and I really enjoyed learning some of the other things, like the whole music thing. Didn't know that, so very cool.
Well, I'm a creature of habit. I mean, I even wear the same necklace that my son gave me, and he loves turtles, so it's a little turtle, and I wear it when I fish. And it's just one of those things. It has a little pearl inside of it, and you make a wish, before you put it inside the turtle. And so I let my son make a wish, and I don't even know what it is, but I wear it. I wear it every single tournament. So I mean, cool. There's just certain things that make you comfortable out on the water. I talk to God when I'm out there, and it's the best blessing in the world to be able to be out there. So.
And then, I'm sure that has a lot to do with building up your confidence. We've talked about that a lot on this show in the past, is it has so much to do with your confidence level, and so all those little things probably play into that for you.
Yes, 100%. 100% it does. I like to do things the same way almost every single time. I'm not saying fish the same exact way, but it's just the things I do when I get up in the morning to when I get in my boat to, how I am with my co-anglers. I absolutely love every one of my co-anglers. I'm friends with everyone that has ever been in my boat and still talk to them on a daily basis. I've been schooled by my co-anglers before on Smith Lake in Alabama with a Ned rig. And I was like, instead of gas money, can you give me some of those? I had never used one at the moment. Seriously. But, I always buy extra stuff too for my co-anglers. If I'm catching them on something, I'm going to give it to my co's as well, because I'm not against my co-angler. We're not fishing against each other. If I'm missing the fish, it's my responsibility as a pro to hit all those spots first. I mean, it's my responsibility. If I don't catch them, go ahead and catch them. Catch them behind me. That's what you're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. But, I'll even give them the same baits. But, that's just how I am. It's just, I feel like I should be doing my job. And if my job's also helping to guide them too as well. But also, I still got to worry about myself all in the same amount of time.
So what Barbara was wanting to know, are you superstitious, like bananas, no bananas?
Nobody's going to put a banana in my boat.
Oh my gosh, for real?
I will hunt you down.
I'm on the same page as you.
Oh,
no bananas in my boat. Yes, I am. I am a little superstitious.
Me too.
See, you can't.
Barbara, I think ate a banana for breakfast the last time we went out practice fishing and got skunked. So I blamed it all on that.
Well, I have this thing too. So if I'm having an awesome practice and everything's going my way, you will not catch me on Facebook saying I had a good practice. Well, no way in heck, because what will happen is day one will not be very good for me. It's just how it is. So I kind of prefer to keep it to myself, unless I catch a really big fish that deserves to be shown to the world. It's different. But I prefer to keep it to myself, just because I don't want to jinx myself.
Right, but I mean, it's a banana. A banana
that has a proven history.
No,
of
it doesn't.
wreaking havoc.
It is so fun. See,
100%.
but now, like, if I'm competing against you, like, if
you know
I
what
went,
she sounds like? You remember the music back in the 80s where it would go, I don't know. Like, the only thing,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what she sounds like.
Scratching the record.
Yes. Yes.
Hey, they got paid a lot of
Yes,
money.
that's what it sounds like.
Okay, well, interpret this for her, Angie. If I switch over to a boater, I can get in her head like that. If she's superstitious about a banana, I'll go by, I'll throw it on Angie's boat, Stephanie's boat, Secret's boat, Robbie's boat, and I'll be like, I'm so going to win.
So, did you hear any of that?
No.
All right. This will be a great thing to end it on, I think.
Okay.
She says if she switches over to a boater, she's going to be able to get in all our heads because she's going to drive by our boats and throw banana in our boat right before the tournament starts. And not just you and me, but Robbie and Secret and
Linda
and a few others.
Everybody. Good luck.
Well, I'll see her coming and I can outrun her.
There you go. She will never be able to throw a banana far enough to catch you.
Nope. Sorry, Barbara.
You don't know what boat I'm going to have.
You don't know what boat she's going to have, she says.
Yep. I guess I better get mine tuned up. Yeah, make it faster.
Actually, it wouldn't matter because I could have a bullet with a 300 horsepower and it wouldn't matter. I wouldn't try, but
you wouldn't be able to compete if you had a 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
It's not allowed.
I wish I had a 300.
But
I wish I could compete with one.
I could hide it in your boat the night before and be like, Stephanie, check.
I didn't hear any of that. But what comes to mind real quick before I know we got to get off here is when we were in Alabama and I had to take off in 14th and then I beat every single. I think I passed you too, Angie.
I'm pretty sure I saw you whizzing by me.
I think I even waved.
And what was funny is I was just bragging that morning the day before because the order was reversed.
Yeah.
That reversed. I actually passed like 3 or 4 boats and that I don't usually do that, you know? And so I was like, man, that was pretty cool passing these other boats. Then there goes Stephanie like whizzing by me on day 3. I'm just glad you didn't go to my spot, even though my spot didn't produce that day. I was hoping it was going to, but
you had a very, very good tournament, Angie. We're very proud of you.
Yeah, thank you. I was proud of myself on that one. I put a lot of work into it, and it kind of proved to myself like that extra work pays off.
Yes, and you will do very well next year.
I hope so.
Do very well. You will.
My goal.
You will. You'll do great.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, and it was a pleasure competing with you this year, and I can't wait for next year.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I will see y'all at the first tournament.
All right. Thanks again for listening, everyone. Check out the show notes for this episode with links to follow Stephanie's incredible tournament journey coming in 2022 on her socials and to support the partners who make this podcast episode possible, thewomanangler.com/215. That's 215. And don't forget to tune in for next week's special 2021 recap episode and looking forward to hopefully an unprecedented 2022. Again, so happy and honored to have you along right beside me as we continue to share these stories, inspire others, and grow the sport. I couldn't do this without you all. Have a safe and happy Christmas with your family and friends, and see you back here next week.